everybody. Welcome to episode 267 of the Established Facts. We're going to do something a little more casual today. Obviously, I have here my wife, Dr. Deb, and I'm Josh. And we're Disney fans. I'm sure you've caught on to that over the years. But we just got back from a Disney World trip, and we thought it'd be fun to kind of come on here and talk about it, tell you about some of our other interests. I know we're a gaming podcast primarily, but we do other things. So, Deb, how was our trip?
Our trip was a lot of fun. It was a little bit different than we normally do because it was just the two of us this time. Usually we travel with the two kiddos. So this was a grown-up Disney trip. The kiddos stayed at home with Auntie. So, that already gives a little bit different layer and a different flavor to what we do because we might wait in longer lines that we might not with the kids, or we might go to a show rather than go to a ride. Like it changes the variables a little bit. So
Disney adulting is pretty entertaining. Getting to try foods the kids won't eat and ride rides the kids won't ride, which isn't a lot. Our kids are getting a lot better about that now, if they're able, unless it makes them woozy, which their daddy deals with too. Like it's kind of how that goes, right?
no, you nor the children are allowed to ride Guardians of the Galaxy. We just have some clear and present rules that we will follow as I wave my hands.
Not until I find some sort of medical or homeopathic thing that helps me stay a little. I want to, because it's honestly, it's a great ride.
We could get sponsored by
Dramamine.
Benadryl, thinking hydroxyzine, a little scopolamine patch right there.
Okay,
right there.
I am not a medical provider and cannot provide prescriptions, and she is not your medical provider, so only take so much advice from her.
But you could talk to your own doctor and feel free at your earliest convenience to chat about, roller coaster options or other, because they're not just roller coasters, other variations of medicine for that, because it exists.
It does. So I wanted to kind of take the approach of almost like reviewing a convention. We do a lot of convention reviews around here because we spend time at conventions because it's the easiest way to get everybody near a microphone.
Accurate.
So we like to take the approach of what did we like, what was maybe not our favorite, and what would we like to improve about our next trip. I know annually we try to do a couple of these trips as a couple, thanks to wonderful help from our sister-in-law and brother, our sister-in-law, her brother, my brother-in-law, Carrie and Tim Kelly, Tim and Carrie Kelly, whatever order you want to go with. We take their kids for two weekends out of the year, and they take our kids for 2 weekends so we can continue working on our marriage, which we believe wholeheartedly is important for a marriage. So I'm just going to start out what was it we liked most, that you liked most? I'll let you go. Or do you want me to go before?
Do you know what you're going to pick?
I do.
Okay, then give me a minute to load, because you didn't tell me beforehand that this was going to be a thing.
That's the best part.
Yeah. You go first, and I'll get rid of the loading screen that's on my face.
Well, I may end up taking hers, but that's life. We went on the Keys to the Kingdom tour inside Magic Kingdom on Sunday, and for those who don't know what this is, to go to Disney World, of course, you've got to get tickets to get into the parks, and then ticket prices vary based off which park you go to, and the more days you buy, the price goes down, and blah, blah, blah. It is an adventure. Find a travel planner or somebody who really loves Disney if you want to get some more details. But on top of that, they also offer other experiences throughout the year. The one we commonly talked about is the Very Merry Christmas Party, and that is an additional cost. What's different about Very Merry Christmas, though, is you don't necessarily have to have a park ticket if you just go later in the day to only do a part of the Christmas party. Whereas for the tours inside the parks, you are supposed to buy a separate thing. It was only about $120, $130, depending on what benefits you get from annual pass, vacation club, whatever. It's a 5-hour walking, pausing, eating, riding tour. And I'm like, wait, that's a lot of things. Well, it's primarily walking, but we'll pause and sit down. You may ride a couple of rides in this instance. We did. And we're going to do everything we can, not to give away too much, but what was really cool about it was we got to be, as they say, on stage, as well as backstage, as this cast member, which they are not employees, they are cast members, took us through the reasoning and whole description of why the Magic Kingdom was designed the way it was, from the front curtain that is the locomotive to the utilidors underneath. I'm sorry, actually on the first floor of the Magic Kingdom, second floor being the actual Magic Kingdom itself. And I've literally gone to Disney over 20 times. I'm approaching 30 times in the last, what would be probably 29 years of my life. Because I think I went, I was either 10 or 11 years old was the first time I went. So I'm approaching that 30 times range. And I learned stuff I hadn't learned before. And it was just so good. It was hot the whole time we were there. I'll explain that later. But got to ride Jungle Cruise, got to ride the Haunted Mansion again, got to eat at the Columbia Harbor House, just get some great questions answered. And I highly recommend it. It is for 16 and up because they do not want to ruin any of the secrets for the little ones. And I don't think they'd want to stand around and listen to somebody talk about it that certain amount of time, but I absolutely enjoyed it. What about you?
I mean, I loved it as well. So yeah, I'm going to have to come up with another one here in a minute. Cause I am all about, going down the rabbit hole of research. When I am fascinated with something, I will deep dive it. And to hear the explanations and to hear the why, because I've heard them called cast members. I've heard them make statements of, you are our guests. You're not our customers. You're our guests. I've heard the outfits that they wear. I've seen them walk around in them. I now know why all of those things are put into place. And it makes total sense if you understand the background. And again, I'm trying to give as little away as possible. But there's the why behind what you see. There's a reason behind it. They didn't just pick it randomly out of the sky and say, hey, good luck. They keep things certain ways for reasons. And that was fascinating to me to hear the story behind the Liberty Tree. Again, I won't spoil it, but if you hear the story of the Liberty Tree, it's a very cool story. Now, whenever I go by, I think I'm going to take a picture of the Liberty Tree because I know what the story is behind it. It's not really a secret to know why Walt Disney's window is where it is. Now, you can find
Windows.
Right. Windows. Correct. Because there are two. To know Roy Disney's windows, he actually has two, but one you might have to work a little harder to figure out where the second one is. And know why. I'm fascinated. I'm never going to look at the windows in Main Street again in the same way. So that was, it was extremely cool. It was very cool to go backstage as well, to be able to see how they do what they do. I already said the why and then the how they pull off a little bit of what we see when they're on the stage every day. So I was fascinated. I would totally do another tour. If they offered another one for a different park, for instance, which I believe they do. I would totally sign up and do another one. It was fantastic. Our tour guide was amazing. It was hot. Yes, it was. But we got to ride two of our favorite rides as part of this. I would do it again in a second. And hopefully be like maybe 10 to 15 degrees cooler would have been amazing. But
the other thing I really appreciated, we stayed at the Caribbean Beach Resort, which in Disney World, there are multiple resorts you can stay at, scaling from value resorts to moderate, which is what the Caribbean Beach was, to deluxe resorts, which we are Disney Vacation Club members. We're not sponsored by Disney. We just paid them a lot of money. Yeah. I'd love it if they paid us. Yeah. But we stayed at the Caribbean Beach this time, and the reason we did was it was only a few $100s more. We were going to stay at the All-Star Movies, and we decided to do this because they have access to the Disney Skyliner. Inside Disney World, there are a multitude of transportation options to get you to and from wherever you're at. So one of the big things that Walt wanted when he developed the plans for the park, for those who don't know, Walt never actually got to go into the park. His brother Roy O. is actually Roy O. Disney is the one who finished the park. But he always wanted it to be super immersive so that he can control all the elements of it, including the transportation side. You would show up at your hotel, and at that point, you didn't need to do everything you needed was there in the park, from food to entertainment to transportation. It was all in the park. So as the years have gone by, originally it was the futuristic monorail or the bus system that still to this day runs really strong. And then the addition of boats as more hotels were added to Epcot Magic Kingdom, and as more parks were added, they continued to use the buses. But the realization came that the bus transportation is good, but maybe we need to do something a little bit different. And with the expansion of the France Pavilion to add at Epcot, the Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, they brought in an idea from Europe, these Skyliners, which are, I've heard people refer to them as gondolas, but the way I see them is they're ski lifts, the bigger ski lifts that you see in like the mountain ranges and whatnot, that are cable driven. They can seat like 8 to 10 people in them if they need to. They're open, ventilated, and I don't know how far up in the air we are. I'd have to look that up. Probably 70, 80, 100 feet. Like we're up there a pretty good distance. So there's a good airflow and whatnot. But there, I believe, are 4 resorts that are associated with the Skyliners. Disney's Riviera, the Caribbean Beach, Pop Century, and the Art of Animation, I believe, are all tacked on to the Skyliner.
I believe it's those 4, yes.
Which provides a premium transportation experience to 2 value resorts, a moderate resort, and a deluxe resort.
Oh, look at that.
Whereas some of the other resorts may have boat access, and a few of them, the All-Stars primarily, are just bus access. So it gives you a reason to maybe spend a little bit more on that Art of Animation, or maybe particularly the Pop Century. And for us, it worked because it got us from the All-Star movies over to the Caribbean Beach, which gave us access to the Skyliner. The Skyliner not only gets to those hotels, but it also can either drop you off at the front of the park at the Hollywood Studios, or it can drop you off at the International Gateway in Epcot, which is backed by World Showcase. And just having that, like, you get on and 15, 20 minutes later, you're at the park, which is the same as the buses. But if you go during the regular parts of the day, like just a regular day, not early or not late, especially as a couple, it's like we just kind of get on this little gondola and like talk about Disney by ourselves on a nice smooth ride. Even when we have the family, it's really nice to have.
Yeah, I was gonna say the kids love the gondola, the Skyliner gondola ski lift thing. They love it. It's almost like its own ride. Like I've literally heard and read some families with Disney being like, this is like its own ride. Like we don't even have to go into the park. We could just ride this around Disney World if you really wanted to, because you can ride it as much as you want and there's no extra cost. And it's very relaxing because you're just sort of flying. What do they call it? The most magical flight on earth or something like that. And it's relaxing. It's shockingly comfortable, because it was hot when we were there. And when you're on the thing, you are actually pretty comfortable because the airflow through there, and they've got the reflecting things to keep the sun reflected. So I would highly encourage, if anybody wants to try it out, the Riviera is a beautiful resort, but it's a deluxe. So spend the money for the Caribbean Beach or do the Pop Century, the Art of Animation. Those are the value resorts, and you still get the benefit. So
I'm gonna add one more thing that I really liked before we transition, because we keep bringing up the heat. Our favorite restaurant in Disney Springs is Morimoto Asia.
Yes, indeed.
And for the first time in literally the 10 years we've been going to Morimoto Asia, my wife did not order the same thing she's always ordered, the Buribop bowl, the white fish clay pot cooked, basically fried rice dish that's absolutely amazing.
With a quail egg, then made literally in front of you. It cooks in the pot in front of you, so it's about as fresh as you can possibly get it, with all these delicious Asian flavors and the soy sauce and some ginger and all. Anyway, it's delicious.
But you didn't order it this time.
I did not order it this time.
Because we got a suggestion from Manny, our wonderful server. And I asked about the Peking duck. Deb tries to eat on the kosher biblical side, just from a conviction.
Kosher side
of
of things.
Yes.
I'm not 100%.
It's a conviction, no like dietary reason or whatever, just a conviction of hers. And so duck sits in there, that we can have that. And Peking duck is a whole roasted duck with seasonings and whatnot on it. And we asked, like, how good's the Peking duck? And we were literally told there are people that fly from all over the world to have Morimoto's Peking duck,
including New York City, which you could argue has some of the best food on the planet.
Probably including Peking duck.
Right, exactly.
So we're like, you know what? let's get that. The other thing they do is they do dim sum. They do small plates and stuff. We had a bao burger that had fried bao with a Wagyu beef slider
Yeah, we did.
in it, and then a chicken, not it's not yellow grass. What is that called?
I don't know.
It was a gyoza, but it was ground chicken.
Yeah.
Instead of steamed dumpling. Very good as some appetizers. And then they bring out this hand carved Peking duck with a couple of duck legs and all the breasts and thigh and whatnot cut up, served with white rice or fried rice, or I think you can get it with noodles. I think they offer it. And then you have the option of either putting it in a tortilla, which is how it's apparently standard done, a bao bun, or lettuce leaves if you're gluten-free, for example. And my goodness, was it fantastic. They had a gochujang sauce and a sweet, I don't remember if it's sweet sriracha or what it was. But
it wasn't spicy enough for sriracha,
apricot.
but
It was apricot.
It was apricot. Oh, apricot and duck is magic.
Absolutely delicious.
Fantastic. Now the struggle will be real. What am I going to order when we go next time? Well, I couldn't have eaten the whole thing myself. It's definitely for two. You couldn't pull it off.
That's meant for two, yeah.
So we'll have to discuss if we're going to go Peking duck together again, and I will not argue. But I do
don't
love
know.
my boribap.
If the only thing I ordered was that Peking duck, I might finish that duck.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
That's
fair.
a good duck.
That was good duck. You're not wrong. But but then you wouldn't be able to order the other dim sum plates. I don't know.
That's true. Because the other thing you have to look at, which we didn't do this time, but we've done it almost every other time, is the sweet sticky pork rib, which again, my wife, who doesn't normally eat pork because of the convictions, will have one of those because it falls off the bone. Pork rib, sweet, crunchy, like sticky barbecue sauce. It's
that
incredible.
sauce is magic. I would drink the sauce. If Disney was like, "Here, would you like a cup of this?" I would be like, "Yes, I will. I will just drink the juice." That's where I'm at with that sauce. It's amazing. But yeah, we actually didn't do that this time. And I'm not sorry. It was really good that we kind of branched out a little bit and we, trying the Peking duck and yeah, no, it was delicious. It's always delicious. Like, we were there for their soft open. So it's not like we weren't there. We were there like when they were just learning how they're living their lives. And it is still fantastic. It's still delicious. I don't know.
So I'm going to go ahead and transition into just to talk a little bit about kind of the stuff that wasn't our favorite parts, so that we can then get to the thing we look forward to next. The heat.
I mean, the heat.
I think
I'm
the
sorry.
heat
I'm going
was
to take
primarily
yours.
it.
I'm just going to camp right there. Dear goodness, I felt like I was in an oven.
It was 93 plus degrees every day we were there.
Yeah. The heat index on the day we did the tour was 105 when I looked at my phone. It may have gotten higher. That's what I looked on my phone.
I don't think we've been down there in May before.
I
So
don't
we didn't
think
know
so
we were
either.
expecting.
No. I think we've been out in September. I think we tried that one. That was pretty warm when we were down in September.
Well, in late April, it started to rain.
It'll start
crank
to
up.
rise and you get into kind of the mid 80s and it's starting to, get up there. But this was,
For
buddy.
those who don't know, we're in Indianapolis, where the weather changes like your roller coasters in Disney.
Yeah, we came back and it's apparently cool, a high of like 66 degrees out there and raining here in Indiana. And it was 95, heat index 105, sunny, cook an egg on the sidewalk with hardly any effort. Or you can burn your foot if you're running through Hollywood Studios without any shoes on.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah,
Don't
I'm
do
going to
that.
try really hard not to do that again.
However-
Although I have a story.
You do have a story. Do you want to share your story?
I will quickly share the story because in retrospect, it's hilarious. At the time, it was not fun. So I have a pair of I had, in past tense, a pair of very comfortable sandals that I worn to Disney. And actually, I could walk in these things. They were cork, so had plenty of cushion to them, very comfortable. And I walked in these sandals forever. Well, we're in Hollywood Studios, and the sandals break. Like, where it's attached to the sandal is now broken. We are not fixing this pair of sandals. Well, once again, remember, we're back in 93-degree temperature heat and the sun is beating down. And back by Hollywood Studios, there really isn't a store except the one that's in Hollywood Studios. It didn't have any shoes. So I'm going, all right, we definitely can find shoes in Hollywood Studios. They sell them, but where are we going? Well, the closest you're going to have to go is kind of go up and around the bathrooms that are over there, and you're going to go into one of the stores. I knew exactly where we were going, but I had no shoes to wear, and I was not going to wear them broken because I would have sprained an ankle. So I'm like, okay, I'm walking barefoot in Hollywood Studios, and part of the walk was blacktop only. There was no sidewalk. It was blacktop or bust. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to wait for my husband to give me a wheelchair because I'm not a cripple. I could have asked him to go get one of the scooters. Yeah, no, thank you. No, that's dumb. Let's not do that.
Just to go on the record, I was willing to do any of those things, and instead, we were told there was a store right up the road that had them or had shoes, so that's where we went.
Yep. And I ran there. At a certain point, I'm like, I'm going to have to run because I'm not going to be able to walk. It is too hot. I said, so I will meet you there. I said, I'm going to run and see you. So I am running barefoot through Hollywood Studios. Part of it was on blacktop, and I did manage to burn the bottom of my foot with a little spot. Not second degree, it was a first degree, but I got a blister. So that was fun. And so walking into a store barefoot, and I didn't care what it was. On the bright side, they were a pair of very cute Minnie Mouse style, like Ked kind of shoes with polka dots, and they even had socks. So before we left, I had socks. I had a new pair of Minnie Mouse polka dotted shoes. And yeah, so I'm the proud owner of that I earned by getting my foot blistered as I ran barefoot through Hollywood Studios.
I'm going to add one other thing that I think turned out to not be our favorite, but I'm hoping will redeem itself eventually. So when we were flying there, we flew Southwest, and I downloaded the what movie did we watch on the way there? Captain America: Brave New World.
Captain America, yeah. Yeah.
Very much enjoyed that. Thought it was a very good movie. It's not like top tier Marvel movie, but it was an enjoyable movie. Anthony Mackie as Captain America, thumbs up. We did that because though we're still not caught up on all the Marvel TV shows, we wanted to get as close to caught up, other than the Marvels, which we ultimately watched on the flight back.
Right.
We wanted to be caught up on all the movies. So we could go watch the Thunderbolts in Disney Springs. We've found that the Disney Springs AMC Theater is really a good theater.
Nice theater.
Very much enjoy the presence there. Yeah. Saw Moana 2 there. Like, it's a really good theater.
It's a nice choice because you can get something to eat and then you can go to the movie right after, and it works.
They also
great.
have food you can get there. The dine-in
Right.
theater, like you can actually get food from them. So,
exactly. But in our case, we went to Morimoto Asia because Morimoto Asia, and then we just walk over there. So it works. It's like it's a dinner date night in Disney.
Yeah. But the Thunderbolts was a little on the disappointing side, primarily because 2/3 of it was very depressing. So we're not going to do a big movie review here, but the fact that we saw Captain America: Brave New World, Thunderbolts, and Marvels in the same weekend, we can clearly see that Marvel is doing this thing where it's developing teams. And obviously the Fantastic Four is coming next. Like, they are developing these teams, and it appears that that's going to head towards Secret Wars, and the teams may have to face each other. Like, we're kind of seeing that. But there was so much of a negative tone in the Thunderbolts. Not that these guys were plucky and they just were terrible and unlucky. They kept telling us how bad they were, like verbally. And for my wife in particular, whose personality is very sense driven, when she hears that through so much of the movie, at the end of the movie, her thoughts are, this kind of sucked. Because they said they sucked.
They told me that they sucked, and end quote. I'm pretty think that was what Yelena said at least once, if not several times. And other words, some of which I'm not going to say on a family-friendly podcast. So I'm just like, oh, okay, well, if you're this bad, then why am I watching you? Like, I'll just rewind. I can watch Captain America: First Avenger. Like, I'll be solid there. It's good. So it was a little hard to figure out where they were going with, we're really bad, but it felt like we just sort of camped there. And I was like, well, if we're going to be really bad and stay really bad, this ain't going to go very well in Marvel because you're going to get squished. So when are you going to not be bad? And I still don't know.
Well, and I'm going to try not to spoil it.
Because even at the end, it was still kind of there.
They are a team.
Ish.
No, they're a team.
They're actually a team? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They're a team. They have a title and everything. I just don't want to give that title away because people still want to see it.
Yeah, I mean, and that, which is fair.
It's not the Thunderbolts.
No, even though the movie's called Thunderbolts. And that confused the daylights out of me, too.
It's Thunderbolts with an asterisk, and it's because of the new name. That's what the asterisk was for.
But then that's just confusing to me because then you've got a movie, there's their name, and then, no, but that's actually not their name. We're just kidding. It's actually this name. And I'm like, Disney, if you're trying to be sneaky, you're just being confusing. True. There's a difference.
I am, however, looking forward to Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
It gets a tease in the post-credits.
I mean, it's got Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Pedro, like
Mando. Okay, Mando. It won't be Mando,
Joel.
but still. What?
Joel. Sorry, he's Joel in The Last of Us.
Oh, ooh. Okay, that could go. Okay, anyway. Sorry, I
emotional.
know him as Mando.
It's emotional.
So, yes. So I'm looking forward to that. Obviously looking forward to Doctor Doom because, you know, Robert Downey Jr. is coming back along with like 27 other people or something like that.
In counting.
And counting because apparently they just keep going on the list. So,
No, I fully expect them to add people that weren't revealed in that video. So, things that we're looking forward to for, I want to say our next Disney trip because we are going again as a family in November.
yes.
And we also have a planned Disney cruise in February.
Yes.
But as a couple, as long as I can get it booked, we're planning to go down to Brown County in Nashville, Indiana, as our current plan to go over our anniversary weekend in October. So definitely looking forward to that. But for our next Disney trip, I know the kids are excited to see all the same stuff. We're staying at Old Key West, which has very big villas in it. The 2-bedroom villa is like 1,300 square foot, which is bigger than some people's homes.
Huge.
It's an apartment, and the Vacation Club villas have a full kitchen, and they've got laundry, which is great. Definitely not looking forward to Southwest's dumb move of start charging for bags and mess up all the flight stuff. So I guess we get to figure out if we're going to stick with Southwest or some other flights. We're going to try out Allegiant
We're going
in
to try them.
November. So
Let's
that'll
see.
be, I don't know if I'm looking forward to that yet, but
Yeah, I don't know if looking forward to it's the right term for that one. Curious? I think curious is a fair thing, but I don't think we're up to looking forward to it yet. So
But because we can't start making dining reservations till 60 days out, we're looking forward to being in Disney, just not 100% sure what we're going to do, like food wise yet. And we've got some other things that may be cooking as a surprise. But we can't reveal those just yet.
Right.
So definitely looking forward to that. Trip in Nashville. We love going to our places that we like to eat there in Nashville, the Nashville House, the Hobnob, I have Martin Lynch, the Nashville Chop House. Highly recommend the Nashville Chop House.
Rosini's Pizza.
Brozini's Pizza, which they have one of those in the Greenwood area too.
Yep. Doesn't matter where you go, that pizza.
If you're not from Indiana, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
we've got good stuff around here too.
So good. Yeah. No, there's lots of all sorts of little, and there's some places that we haven't even eaten at that we need to probably, talk about maybe going over to visit. Anyhow.
I think we're becoming like big fans, repeat fans of the Lightning Lane Multipass, which I know is an additional charge per person per day, but it's the same if you get the Express Lane stuff at Universal, and maybe it's a little like you pay more to get more, possibly. Like I understand all of that, but for us, like
If you know how to do it.
yeah,
I can see that there can be a situation if you don't know how to play the game. Yes, Triple H, I hear your music. If you don't know how to play the game, then it might not be worth the money. But if you can get someone who can figure out how to maximize
we both can do it. But
yeah, we can both do
love
it.
doing it.
I plan it out kind of ahead of time, and then in the moment of what are we doing next? He's in there digging and be like, all right, there's this or this or this, and then we'll kind of go back and forth and sort it out. And then when you have two friends who are military and who are disabled military vets.
The Disability Access Service is meant for those who need access to it because of things like not being able to stand in line for a certain amount of times, the attention needed like autism and so forth. You go through the interview process, you get approved. We are not saying we're taking advantage of the DAS. These two
We don't use
no.
it. There is no reason that we
No,
would use
but
it.
we
But
go
because
as
our
the-
friends go, we go with them. We're sort of their handlers, if you want to think about it like that.
We get the benefits for being there with them to help them through those situations.
Right, exactly. And we know Disney well enough that we can kind of help to guide them as to what might be challenging situations, what might not be easiest for them, or what would be good choices, etc.
But that said, don't be that person who takes advantage and tries to get approved for the disability service when you don't need it. That causes it to be harder for those who need it to get it. So please don't do that.
Yeah, don't be that guy. But knowing what we knew about Lightning Lane helped it to be a better experience for our military veteran friends.
Yes.
Because we knew how to use what they received as part of their disability and military benefit at Disney, and we knew what we had was the Lightning Lane benefit.
This
And
was a few years ago. We're hoping to be able to go with them again in the future. But
And so knowing how to use it. This is not a lesson in how to use Lightning Lane correctly, but if you're going to get it, understand how to use it to your best benefit. And if you don't understand how to use it, you probably shouldn't invest the money in it. Spend it on something else, like a really cool souvenir or a really great dinner. But if you know how to use it, which we do, it can be a real plus. You like that? Disney Plus? Plus.
Wow, I'm sure that Disney loves it.
I mean, they invented it, so here's hoping they at least like it. So, yeah, I can see how some people, and the reality is that if you go there all the time, maybe you don't ever do it because if you live there, for instance, in Orlando, and you go, well, maybe you're just going to wait in line for the Rise of the Resistance. Fair enough, you live there. But for those of us who make long trips to get there and we're limited on our time, being efficient with our time to be able to enjoy the most while we're there is an important thing.
I'm also going to put a shout out to Touring Plans. WDW Lines, I think is what their app is called on Android. I'm not sure what it is on iOS.
Yeah.
They have a paid service that they collect data from multiple people that are using it, and it's definitely more accurate data than the posted wait times, particularly in Disney's app. Now, mind you, Disney's app's wait times are very good, but they are also from a very specific point in the line. To like, I'm getting on the ride, whereas a person in Touring Plans can bring out their phone and go, I just stepped into line, and then right as they're getting on the line. So it's going to be a little more accurate. It also is really good about analyzing crowd levels and so forth. So if you're wanting to go on a lighter day to a particular park, it'll help you figure that out. Highly recommend that. Again, we're not a Disney blog. It's just my wife and I love going down to Disney World. You may have your opinions on the Disney company and certain things, what they stand for. That's for you. We're an a-religious, apolitical podcast. We go because we have fun with it. And if you need something gaming related, my wife loves to play Dreamlight Valley. I loved playing Disney's Illusion Island with the kids. I want to play through all of the Kingdom Hearts games. I just haven't done it yet. There's some gaming references for you. But regardless, we just wanted to be casual today. We wanted to talk about a little bit more about who we are. And I don't know. Let us know what you think.
Yeah. I would like to be a Disney blog, but I don't go to Disney enough to do it. I only am able to go, a couple of times a year, usually. 3 years. I think we went 3 times in 1 year by some miracle. I don't quite remember how that happened.
I'm not sure how that worked out, but we did. It was because we went on a personal trip, and I think you might have done
I think it was CME.
Yeah.
And then we went again before the
kids.
It was before kids. And then we went before the annual pass was used up. So we went 3 in a year. So that's really the most. I can't do it more than that. Would I like to? Absolutely. But no. So because our trips do matter to me, we try to optimize them to be the best experiences they can be. And then when Josh and I go, we will try out some things that we're not sure are ready for the kids quite yet. And we'll try out a show. We'll go and look at, what is it? Canada Far and Wide, or China in the Round, or we tried the Beauty and the Beast sing along, or you get the idea. And so we try those things out to see, and they go, you know what, the kids would enjoy this, or nah, we're not quite ready for the kids to be able to do this yet. So, which is a great, it's a great thing. So we try it out that way. Disney is safe. It is now, is it perfect? No, but it is one of the safest places that you can take your kids in the U.S.
That's the number one key.
Yeah, that is their number one key. That is a giveaway from the tour. And so as a parent and as a doctor, I do value that. So that is one of the things that's a driving point. There's many, many reasons, but that is a big driver for me of why I choose to go. Because I really do believe that they put a lot of emphasis. I've seen them put a lot of emphasis on safety. I've seen them do it when my brother went to Disney multiple years ago. So as a result, that if they ever lose that key, they're going to lose my business probably, because that is one of the reasons I go. My husband takes me, because if I don't feel like I'm safe there, why do I want to go? So that's one of the driving points. And I'm delighted that is their first key. There are 4 more that I will not give away, but safety is actually their number one key.
Absolutely. Well, with that said, I want to say again, thank you for joining us on episode 267, some casual facts with Dr. Deb and Josh. our Disney World trip edition. I want to put a key in here for sure to get ready for PopCon Indy coming up at the end of June. Make sure you go to popcon.us and check that out. Both the Established Facts and the Stable podcast will be represented doing podcast recordings on Friday afternoon. We will also be running our Never Ending Dungeon, so be staying tuned to the establishedfacts.com. We'll have our charity link up for that. On Saturday, we will be doing it from 9 to 6. We want to, apparently Don wants to raise anywhere between $2,000 and $4,000. We've been hitting $1,000 pretty easily, but he's trying to stretch the net, and I'm totally on board to see what happens. I'd love to see everybody participate in that. Either come to the show and pay your way under the table, or help or hinder whoever you see fit. It's a lot of fun, and we're helping out Extra Life and Riley Hospitals here in Indianapolis. We will also be taking the improv troupe, though not officially a part of Casting Robot Productions. I know that Don and I both are part of it. Second Breakfast Improv, formerly Breakfast Anytime by Peter Spellos. Second Breakfast is going to be doing, I think, two workshops and 3 performances throughout the weekend. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Come to PopCon Indy. I did hear that the Creator Summit got postponed to 2026. So stay tuned for information on that. That's going to be a great opportunity if you're looking to get yourself involved in things like with what we're doing here. I mean, we're recording in our living room with some fancy Roadcasters that I just got. Thank you, honey.
You're welcome. You just keep taking me to Disney, and we'll keep talking about your Roadcasters. There's your deal.
I will do my best, dear. With that said, this is Josh.
This is Dr. Deb.
And thanks. What was it again? Catch you later. Bye.
Bye.